He held various positions in the chapter as Vice President for Internal, Vice President for External, and Chapter President in 2018 and 2019 before he was elected to the National Board as National Secretary General. He has a degree in Bachelor of Science in Electrical Engineering from Adamson University and is also a certified investor solicitor. He is a Security and Exchange Commission accredited salesman for mutual funds. Kaya he is the right person to consult regarding our investment here, which is our topic for today. So may I introduce to you our current Secretary General, CRB Jim Ordonez, the Pogi.
Thank you, thank you. Maraming salamat. You're too generous, partner Esme. Anyway, yung mga ibang sinabi mo, dapat hindi nasabi kasi hindi pinalalabas yan. Anyway, ito pong aking moderator ngayon. Co-moderator, mabigat po ang pinagdaanan nito. Maraming pinagdaanan. And she has a lot of titles stuck under her belt. Hindi pa kasama dyan yung mga title niya sa lupa. But seriously, this lady is an achiever. She is not only a real estate broker, she is also an appraiser, which she both acquired in 2012. Imagine in 1 year, dalawa po ang napasahan niyang examination. She is also a real estate consultant, a certified professional property manager, conferred by the Filipino Institute of Real Property Managers, and a master in development management, which she received from the University of the Cordilleras in 2016 as cum laude. She is also a licensed life and non-life agent. She used to be the Vice President for External Affairs in 2018, Chapter President in 2019, and now a National Board of Trustees of our association. So let me welcome my co-moderator for today, Esme David of the Baguio Benguet Chapter.
Thank you.
Welcome, partner. Welcome.
Welcome. Thank you. Thank you, partner.
So, what's next?
So, punta na po tayo sa doxology to be played by our IT specialist from Naga Chapter, CRB Roy Mark Chudoro. And of course, ito, nandito nga tayo sa mga director natin, our director, si PRO Mike Agot. And wala po kaming mga script, as in spontaneous na lang po ito. So we go to Sir Roy, the doxology.
Dear God, we glorify you for all the blessings you have bestowed upon us. We are truly grateful for them. Thank you for allowing us today to meet and share our knowledge and time with one another virtually. May you send forth your divine wisdom to our speakers as they impart effectively their God-given gift to all of us. May they be blessed as they continue to share their expertise to the people who needs them. Bless the participants as well, so that they would be able to obtain vital information from this activity. May you send forth your Holy Spirit so that after this webinar, we may share what we learned in the spirit of your love and generosity, especially during these trying times. May we be able to bring glory to you, Lord, in everything that we do. Amen.
Sa langit ko pagaw, ay hinagang tula, Gather here in unity for REBAP and the industry, flourishing in harmony where the seeds of Christ have grown. Our honor we have built with pride, and bound to be of pride. Our fellowship and brotherhood will surpass the test of time. Beyond but always on REBAP will this lasting glory shine. Splendorous wonder family will the band that will ever be. Unfailing is our gratitude for blessings we enjoy. For God, our country in the reality, we shall strive to accomplish all. For deep within our hearts there lies but unwavering belief in the greatness of our spirits. We can serve for the joy of all. So hoist the remnant high above, let the REBAP banner fly. For generations we live on, hail mighty deep REBAP Credo. Kami nananalig sa kadakilaan ng aming hanapbuhay. Ang pinahahalagahan namin ay lupa, lupang minana ng sambayanan, ang batayan ng lahat ng yaman na pinagsalin-salin sa panahong nagdaan. Kami nananalig sa pananatili ng pinakamataas na antas sa pagsasanay ng aming hanapbuhay. Di mababahiran ang aming pangalan, di ikahihiya ang aming pag-aasa, at ang puso namin laging dalisay. Kami nananalig sa aming samahan, mga may kapangyarihang mga ngalakal ng lupa, na taos-puso sa pagkakaisa upang maiangat ang antas ng aming hanapbuhay sa sariling bayan. Kami nananalig sa aming banal na hangarin na manguna sa pagpupunyagi ng ating ekonomiya sa pamamagitan ng maayos at karapat-dapat na paggamit ng ating lupang yaman. Kami nananalig sa kadakilaan ng diwa ng sangkatauhan na kayang sakupin, malampasan at makayanang hadlangan ang lahat ng mga balakid na sumasalubong sa aming daraan. Kami nananalig sa salita ng buong may kapal na nagtatanggol, nagpapatnubay, nagpapanumbalik, nagbibigay lakas sa aming katauhan at patuloy na nagkakaloob sa amin ng kanyang biyaya. Sa lahat ng ito, kami ay nananalig. Kami ang mga kinatawan ng samahan ng mga real estate brokers ng Pilipinas.
Okay. Princess May, partner. So what's next? What's next? Anyway, nakalagay dito sa atin ang webinar rules, ano? We have played that before, so I understand. So I guess we don't need to repeat that, or would you like to repeat that again?
The webinar rules, partner?
Yes. Would you like to, or we skip that? I think we have to skip that. They have seen that in the previous screen before. So let us now proceed to the introduction of our president. Would you like to do that?
Okay. To make us feel at ease and appreciated, let us hear from a woman I personally know and a person who is always willing to serve. She has served the National Board of REBAP thrice. In 2017, she served as the National Secretary General. In 2018, she served as National VP Internal. And for this year, she was elected by the National Board of Trustees as the president. Without further ado, may I request your undivided attention to listen to her welcome remarks, the 2020 National REBAP President, Benevici B. Castro. Madam President, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, our uh, pair, no? Talagang ang galing ng pairing yung dalawa, no? So thank you so much for that wonderful introduction, our National Board, Esme David. Good morning. Good morning to our distinguished guests and fellow CRBs. This is the 4th webinar series. It's my privilege and pleasure in behalf of the National Board to welcome you here today. I am honored to have you here, all CRBs from Tuguegarao down to Zamboanga. Thank you so much for your support. In spite of our 3 o'clock schedule, which is your siesta hour, you find time to listen to our speaker, who is an authority in real estate investment, Mr. Ricky So, whom he will be properly introduced later. It's wonderful to see you, so many of you here. Prepare yourself to be challenged and inspired. Your strong support and active participation, chapter presidents and members, have made REBAP a preferred real estate organization. Generous sponsorship from top real estate developers and even from the bank, being our real estate loan providers, recognized our strength in the real estate industry. Before I hand over to our host again, our Secretary General Jim Ordonez, and our National Board, Esme David, who will outline what we have in store for you. And in behalf of webinar committee, chaired by our Vice President for Internal Affairs, CRB Margaret Gao, I want you to once more welcome you all.
Maraming salamat, our dear National President Vivian Castro. Okay, thank you very much. Anyway, before we proceed, we would like to introduce to you our first sponsor. But before that, sabi po sa mga radyo at sa TV, di ba? Maghanap buhay muna tayo. So anyway, we're going to play the AVP of our sponsor for today. One of the sponsors, by the way, this sponsor has been our perennial and constant companion in events like this. And our IT specialist, NB Roy, would now play the AVP for our sponsor, the BPI Family Savings Bank.
The BPI Family Savings Bank Partner Circle ushers in a new decade by giving focus on the important role of the accredited loan deferrers in promoting the benefits of home ownership. Its focus is geared to give its accredited partners a rewarding experience with better products, processes, and perks through a range of programs and rewards. It will strengthen the relationship between BPI Family Savings Bank and its partners, thereby fulfilling the dream of Filipinos in having their new home. This is Focus 2020. A focus on more enriching relationship management and efficient processes. through lunch and learn sessions where you can dine with trusted banking experts and get economic updates, basic credit knowledge, and selling tips. Be among the top 15 referral partners from Metro Manila and each retail loan center per quarter, and you will be invited to the quarterly Leaders Lunch together with the members of the Partner Circle Elite. A focus on more distinctive programs, perks, and privileges. We missed you in 2019 with the Dash and Dine program. Inactive partners who book their first account for 2020 will receive 3,000 pesos gift certificate as a welcome back gift. Partners who have referred and booked at least 10 million pesos for the past 3 years will be recognized during the annual awards as among the Partner Circle Prime members. Reach an accumulated booked loan amount of 15 million pesos for Metro Manila and 10 million pesos for the retail loan centers, and you will be inducted to the Partner Circle Elite and receive the Elite membership card and 12,000 pesos e-gift certificate for the membership year, valid for 12 months. A focus on better rewards and recognition. You can get outright rewards for every successful real estate loan referral booked. For referrals up to 10 million pesos in book loans, you will get 1%. For book loans after the first 10 million pesos, you will get 1.3%. Get rewarded for every milestone booking. Check out the rewards you will get for every book referrals account. For a minimum of 120 million pesos, you can earn as much as 635,000 pesos. Be among the top loan referrer partners and you can win the annual rewards. The loan referrer with the highest count of loans booked of at least 5 accounts will win 15,000 pesos. The loan referrer with the highest volume booked of at least 10 million pesos will win 25,000 pesos. The top loan referrers from the retail loan center with at least 10 book loan referrals for the year will vie for the top loan referrer count. Third place wins 50,000 pesos. Second place wins 100,000 pesos. And first place wins 150,000 pesos. The top loan referrers from the retail loan center with at least 25 million pesos total book loans for the year will vie for the top loan referrer volume. Third place wins 100,000 pesos. Second place wins 150,000 place wins 200,000 pesos. The top loan referrers from Metro Manila with at least 15 book loan referrals for the year will vie for the top loan referrer count. Third place wins 100,000 pesos. Second place wins 150,000 pesos. And first place wins 200,000 pesos. The top loan referrers from Metro Manila with at least 70 million pesos total book loans for the year will vie for the top loan referrer volume. Third place wins 100,000 pesos. Second place wins 200,000 pesos. And first place wins 300,000 pesos. Focus on becoming the top loan referrer nationwide by achieving at least 70 million pesos accumulated loan booking for the year and win 1 million pesos tax-free. The BPI Family Savings Bank Partner Circle ushers in a new decade with a vision for the future, a clarity that begins with Focus 2020.
Again, Partner Esme, maraming salamat sa ating ever reliable at ang commitment ng ating BPI Family Savings Bank sa REBAP Inc. So maraming salamat. Anyway, before we proceed to our featured speaker for today, by the way, there will be a two-part presentation. So first part, followed by a break, and another part. Okay. Every part, there will be a quiz for the participants. We will throw some questions, and the participant who answers the correct answer will receive a 500 peso prize from our BP for Finance, Margaret Gao, and she will also announce who the winner is. So again, please make sure that you're all ears para marinig niyo po ang presentation, and then you get to answer the questions that may be thrown.
Partner, mayroon lang akong sasabihin. So,
Yes.
for clarification, so
Okay.
meron po tayo dyan sa ating screen na Q&A.
Yes.
And we have chat room, chat box, right?
Yeah, right.
So, I want to clarify, questions to our speaker will be put in Q&A.
Correct.
So rule po natin ito kasi pag hindi po kayo mai-invalidate po yung price nyo. Mamimigay po kami ng pera ngayong hapon. And then, so it's not, raising of hands is discouraged due to the interest of time. Please key in anything you want in the Q&A box. Yung mga greetings and comments and suggestions po sa chat po. Topics you may like to feature in the next national webinar sa chat po. And we may request also all national officers, the past national presidents and chairman, chapter presidents are requested to key in your full name in the chat room to be recognized. Please rename your identification in the screen name does not reflect your registered name. If it does not reflect your registered name, we will only read your questions if your name is already identified. Thank you and enjoy the webinar.
In addition, partner, during the quiz, only those who have the correct names or registered names will be, if they win, will receive the prize. Those who have registered under iPhone, Dell, or whatsoever will not receive the prize. And also, I believe we have some attendees who are not brokers. They are not allowed, or they are disqualified to be participants in the quiz. That's it.
That's it. That's the rule.
Yes, okay. So we now proceed to the introduction of our featured speaker. And Beroy, please.
Partner.
Yes.
Ricky So has more than 30 years of experience in the financial services industry. He is an independent financial advisor and currently the Chief Knowledge Officer for Investment Planning and Director of Wealth Management Center for Communications and Research, Inc. Prior to this, he held senior management positions in various investment and commodities firms, the last of which was head of training of one of the Philippines' top asset management companies and was once a portfolio manager. Since the late 80s, Ricky has been exposed to the international market on commodity futures and foreign exchange and has since dabbled in the local stock market. He started learning about the US stock market in early 2000 and has been investing in it since 2008. Ricky is very active in the financial services community, using his expertise in training financial service professionals. Accentuating this endeavor, he co-authored a book, Dare to Journey, The Path to Meaningful Wealth, with the best-selling author of the book, Thy Will Be Done, attorney Angelo Cabrera, together with Aristides Merida Jr. He was a former faculty for the RFP Philippines and lectured portfolio management for the Asian Institute of Management, Excel's Strategic Investment Management Group. He lectures technical analysis, managing equity portfolio, and global investing for various learning organizations as well. He has also more than a decade-long experience in providing pre-licensure seminar, the ICRCP, Investment Company Representative Certification Program, to members of the Philippine Investment Funds Association, PIFA for short. Currently, he conducts certification course on Certified Investment Planner Philippines, CIPP. His first exchange blog is intended to contribute to the financial literacy of Filipinos, writing topics about finance, advisory, stock market, and technical analysis. He recently launched a new service called Trade With Me to guide and handhold would-be traders in the local stock market. His premium investment service, Regis, on the other hand, is capable of beating the Philippine Stock Exchange Index 4 out of 5 times while providing income and growth potential. Listen to this, 4 out of 5 times to his clients with minimal risk. Ricky finished his grade school and secondary education as class valedictorian at the Divine Word Academy of Dagupan. He earned a degree in Bachelor of Science in Commerce, major in accounting at the Lyceum Northwestern University with distinction. He pursued continuing education at the Ateneo Graduate School of Business and is an investment planner, advisor, mentor, and funds manager. So let us all welcome our guest speaker, lecturer, Ricky So.
Um, good morning, everyone. I hope I am coming in clear to all the participants. Thank you, Jim, for the introduction. Good morning to your co-moderator, Ms. David, and of course, I would like to thank the National Board of REBAP for taking me in as part of your day. Of course, that is through the courtesy of my friend, Mr. Jim. So I will be happy to share with you my inputs as well as my experience with regard to, of course, our subject matter right now, which is the real estate investment trust. I had been introduced to the REIT as early as early 2000 when I was studying the US market. And I was happy that it was signed in 2009. However, it's been a long wait that we're able to see the first, REIT that actually came into life. At any rate, it's better late than never, as they say. So allow me to share with you my screen, for my presentation. And I believe I'm going to do this in two parts. Okay. So kindly, Mr. Jim, prompt me if my time is up, for the first part, because I don't know when I will be ending. I wasn't able to, determine, how to cut my presentation. So I would be relying on you. Okay, so this is read everything perhaps that we could know that are very important, because there is so much to know about everything, especially when it comes to regulation. But as I am speaking to you, perhaps as a real estate broker, I'm sure this is going to be of interest to you. I would also like to think that some of you might be looking at taking advantage of this, for development, and at the same time taking advantage of this as an investor, as an active participant in the capital market. So let me begin by um, giving the definition of a REIT. I don't have to create my own. I took this out from Wikipedia. It's a real estate investment trust that owns and in most cases operates income-producing real estate. REITs own many types of commercial real estate, ranging from office apartment buildings to warehouses, hospitals, shopping centers, hotels, and timberlands. So what is important to the REIT as its primary, trait or feature characteristic that is perhaps clear, or evident, as an investment instrument is the word income. Of course, apart from perhaps the real estate. So the history of REIT dates back to, well, if we're going to take the United States, it was established by the Congress in 1960. That's where they signed the REIT law to provide especially small investors access to income-producing real estate. As we all know, and I'm sure they also know, that investing in real estate is one of the ways by which we can actually create wealth. Since then, the US REIT approach has flourished and served as a model for more than 35 countries around the world. In the Philippines, well, we enacted our own law in 2009. So this was signed by then President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo. So we refer to it as RA 9856, or the REIT Act, or the Philippine REIT Law. Okay. Just to give you a little perspective, about all of this, I made some sort of a research, that the intention of REITs is essentially an investment scheme that aims to democratize wealth distribution, especially in a country where the Philippines, wherein real estate is partly a cultural thing, wherein it prides a family to be able to own a piece of land. It doesn't have to be an actual piece of land. It can be in the form of securities. And in the same manner, the piece of land or the properties being developed can very well be distributed, to the general public, as long as, of course, they will participate. I would like to provide a parallelism to the similar objective of the mutual fund, which is also very important in the development of the capital market. So the word here is actually to democratize wealth distribution. In this regard, I would like to compare Philippines and the United States, side by side, with regard to these two schemes that I have shown, mutual funds and REIT. 1940 was the year when the United States, signed the Investment Company Act, or actually refers to the mutual fund. In the Philippines, turns out after 20 years, we signed the Investment Company Act after few mutual funds in the late 50s turned out to be a scam. So essentially, legislation is very important to very well regulate, such industry. In the same year, 1960, as previously mentioned, the US signed the REIT law. Okay. Unfortunately, it took us about 40, almost 50 years to be able to sign our own REIT Act, or Republic Act 9856. During those period, okay, somehow, as of the present, okay, we have 67 investment companies or mutual fund. And we can say already that we are starting, okay, with the REIT of the introduction of Ayala REIT, a few weeks ago. But in the US, they went ahead, you know. They were able to establish, okay, or build 7,945 investment companies or mutual funds, and has already developed or put up about 225 REITs. But you might say this is an unfair comparison, Ricky, because we would definitely pale into comparison against the United States being the number one, economy in the world. Okay, I agree, but somehow they are our friends, so supposedly, we should be able to have, follow their track. So, in perspective, let's just look at the timeline. 1960 was the Investment Company Act, and 2009 was the REIT Act. This is supposedly very important, for the Filipinos, especially we know that, the plight of our countrymen is such that still many are, living below poverty line. Hardly we're able to make a very, very significant, leap towards uplifting these people. That's why, supposedly there should have been an opportunity, for the government or even the people, to be able to do something about this. And these are supposedly the instruments. Let us try to compare, to a neighbor, South Korea. Okay, in South Korea, they signed, the Investment Company Act. I cannot really find an exact date, but in the 80s. But it is clear that in 2001, they signed the REIT law, slightly ahead of us. However, today, if we're going to compare again Philippines and South Korea, which is perhaps somehow a good comparison because South Korea's population is less than 60 million and we have about 109 million as of today. But as of today, Philippines have 67 investment companies. There are about 130 UITFs. We can already include them. The first mutual fund that was established was 1957. But then it turned out to be a scam because it was run by unscrupulous people. And it was resurrected in 1989, by the Galleon Fund. And that was the rebirth of the mutual fund industry. In South Korea, however, you will be surprised. They are the biggest in terms of number of mutual funds in a country of less than 60 million people. They have 14,000 investment companies. But the first mutual fund that was established in South Korea was just in 1997. And right before the onset of the Asian financial crisis, because I read the history, and to the present, they have around 219 REITs, established. So we have actually the head start when it comes to in terms of timeline, but somehow they had a better, result, in terms of this, in this particular endeavor. So therefore, if we're going to take a look, South Korea, certainly it's enviable because they have, more people or perhaps less people in the poverty level, and primarily because, the awareness when it comes to savings and investments is very, very high. In fact, the reason why these companies grew or this industry grew is because the financial literacy is so high such that, even 20-year-old, the millennials of today, 40%, according to the study of Credit Lyonnais, when I first about it, is already saving up for retirement. And no wonder, in South Korea, it is not a problem of money, being sourced, from people. It's a problem of where to put it. Okay. So these particular instruments are very, very important, to the progress, of our country. And perhaps that is one of the reason, one of the points that I would like to point out, in this particular opportunity of what can possibly a REIT can do. Okay. So don't you wonder, or didn't you wonder that why in 2009 we signed the RA 9856 or the REIT Act, and how come the first REIT just came out in 2020? Just to give you a little bit of flashback. Okay. The difference was that in 2009, after signing the law, okay, ACFAC, Ali, Ayala Land, and SMDC signified interest in doing a REIT right away. Okay. But the first IRR, or the implementing rules and regulation, okay, came out to be, not so favorable, deemed to be not so favorable because it requires a minimum public ownership of 40% that will expand to 67% in 3 years' time. Hence, the REIT proponent will be left with about, 33% for the remainder of the life of the REIT, which is usually 50 years. So this is the first tussle, the first obstacle of the REIT. The talk about the discussion about minimum public ownership. At that time, if you would remember, the finance secretary then was Cesar Purisima. Okay, so with the objective of uh, the REIT, being able to distribute wealth, it is deemed that supposedly the participation of the public is much higher, so that there will be more, beneficiaries of this particular instrument. So that is where the problem, started. However, with the amended IRR and the recently, improved revenue regulations of the BIR brought about by the train law, okay, the rules and regulation was slightly changed, okay, that the required minimum public ownership is at 33%, okay. So they removed the 40% and they removed the extension of public ownership to about 67%. It will be retained as is, which is the opposite, of having the public owning 33% and the REIT proponent, 67%. So with this, okay, the REIT proponent is already very happy. Okay. Going back, working back, how does a REIT, develop? Why will a real estate company consider moving into a REIT? As they have already perhaps the capability to develop and lease out, of course, different properties. We will discuss, what Ayala is doing, in the latter part of the presentation. What is important in here is that the REIT, of course, own these properties or perhaps under a lease agreement for a long period. It generates an income, okay? Of course, coming from lessees and tenants. Okay? So the motivation, for the company to go into a REIT program or subscribe to the REIT Act is primarily to be able to access capital market, with certain tax advantages. We will be talking about the tax advantages later on when we tackle what are the taxation uh, profiles, of a REIT compared to an ordinary company. But more than that, it will enable them to actually expand faster because they're able to access the capital market as opposed to when borrowing with banks. Because the choice is actually borrow money and then spend for interest rate and then collateral, put your property as collateral, or get owners, okay, equity owners, and then you just pay them or share to them the dividends that you will own in exchange for their capital. So most businesses, of course, would prefer that they can have co-owners and at the same time enjoy a certain advantage. So I believe weighing in the advantage or disadvantage of either borrowing money from the bank for development or taking in investors under a REIT program, it's clear that some developers are seeing that the favor is going to tip, on the side of going into a REIT. Not to mention, of course, the tax advantage. I will explain that later on. So what happens now when the company decides they want to go on a REIT? Okay, during an IPO, what is important, you should also understand the financial system that the first institution that you are going to be talking to would be an underwriter. In the Philippines, we know them as investment houses. These are the companies that have, most of them, the word capital in their name, like BDO Capital, BPI Capital, AB Capital, okay, Philippine Capital Corporation of the Philippines, First Metro Investment Corp, etc., etc. Because they are the only ones who can underwrite securities. So essentially, what's going to happen here is that the real estate company, has hard assets and they need to securitize it through the REIT so that it's going to be distributable, divisible to individuals who in turn will be investing to the REIT company. So in exchange for the capital investment is essentially an equitable or corresponding or proportionate share of the REIT company. And the only way to do that, equitably and proportionately and with ease and convenience is through the issuance of a common stock. Then eventually the investors would have to connect with a stockbroker, okay, in order for them to transact. So what happens now after post-IPO? After the initial public offering, these shares will now be listed on the stock exchange. And then the only way for an investor to deal with these transactions with this common stock that can be bought or sold in the exchange is through a stockbroker. You cannot go directly to the stock exchange to buy and sell securities. On the other hand, the REIT company will continue its operations. But then he has now, okay, an obligation by virtue of the law, Republic Act 9856, to distribute 90% of its income to be given as dividends to the shareholders of that REIT company. These dividends are normally, declared or distributed on a quarterly basis. Because, of course, the payment of the tenants will come in on a monthly basis. And at times, some tenants would be willing to sign off a long-term lease contract. So that's what happens. This is the very unique feature of a REIT that it pays dividends. It should, for as long as it is earning money. The only time that it can no longer pay is that when there are no more tenants or when it is losing money. So the intention of a REIT is to replicate, somehow the 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 pursuit, of an ordinary individual to build something and then rent it out and earn an income. Isn't it that is the practice of many Filipinos? Build an apartment, okay, or a row of apartment, or even an apartment building or a dormitory, a building, and then rent it out and then realize an income. But who can actually do that? It's going to be very little. So therefore, essentially, the securitization, of the REIT assets, will favor, smaller participants to be able to have a piece of that, dream of being a landlord someday, you know. But of course, not in a fashion, not in a scale that when you do it in real life, it's not going to be that way. But certainly, it would actually replicate it, you know, uh, uh, in a much closer way. Okay? In the US, as I mentioned, there are about 225 companies. Okay, there are different types of REITs, but then definitely all of these real estate endeavors are income generating, as that is the main feature of a REIT. So they can enter into a mortgage REIT, they can come up with a residential REIT, an office REIT, which is quite going to be popular in the Philippines because of the boom of the BPO industry looking for more spaces, either in Metro Manila or in the province. Retail, of course, just like Ayala, Robinsons, and the malls, okay? And of course, healthcare also, wherein some diagnostics institutions or companies are just renting out their places, okay? So these are the different types of REITs. But in the Philippines, we try to simplify it first as we go into equity, mortgage, and a hybrid REIT, which I will be discussing later on. So let's talk about Ayala, okay, which is the REIT. When was that? It was launched 2 weeks ago, okay?
Ricky, so
Yes.
Ricky, would you want
Sure.
to take a break
Oh.
in the meantime? Because it's getting too interesting na eh. So before we get to the meatier part, might as well take a break. Would you like that?
Sige, no problem.
Okay,
Naka
thank
30
you.
minutes na ba ako?
Ito mo, very, bilis eh, no?
Mabilis ba?
Bilis. Yes.
Sige, no
I mean,
problem.
mabilis yung oras, not you, ha?
Okay, sige.
The time is too fast. So anyway, again, I would like to conserve the golden voice of our speaker, Sir Ricky. Baka masira yan later on. And at the same time, we would like to pause for some reminders from our sponsors. So right now, we are going to insert in our next sponsor, DMCI, who will have a representative in the name of RE. What's the name? What's the name again?
RV Cansino.
Yes. Would you introduce that, partner?
Yes, we would like to welcome our DMCI partner presenter, Mr. RV Cansino. He is a broker officer, broker department of DMCI.
So, is he prepared now? Is he coming in now?
Wait lang, sir.
If not, baka pwede na tayong mag-answer, question and answer for...
Yeah, better. We can do that. So, can you throw in the first question? By the way, whoever comes first to answer in the chat box, The correct answer would merit a 500 peso prize from, again, our sponsor, president and sponsor, VP Internal Affairs, Margaret Gao. CRB Margaret Gao.
So everybody ready for a 500 peso prize? So ano pa ang unang natin? Question, partner.
Okay. What Republic Act number? Di pa nga tapos, mayroon ng sagot to. Anyway, nakikinig sila, meaning nakikinig. Ang bibilis ng mga ito. Anyway, ito pong ating mga hurado would take a look kung sino po yung nauna. But again, make sure that you have registered your legitimate name to merit the 500 peso prize. And then, another question. Would you like to throw in another question?
Okay, another question is, what is the aim of real estate investment trust? So that's the next question. What's the aim of the REIT?
We would like to caution the participants that they have to answer completely.
Yes, complete answer. Incomplete answer, disqualified po. Kanina nag-answer si partner ko, pero sabi ko, wrong answer kasi hindi po kumpleto yung answer niya sa akin.
Kasi 500 lang. Pag 1,000, gagawin kong kumpleto.
Okay. Ganun ba yun, partner?
Yun. Anyway, are we ready yet for DMCI? Are we ready?
Our IT specialist.
Roy, can we just have the AVP?
Alright. Sige po.
This is the story of three dreamers. Young, discerning, achievers. They know what they want in a home. To raise a family, to relax, to roam. Marissa wants security and peace of mind. Ramon enjoys living the good life. All Alfonso wants is to relax after the long day grind. This is their dream. This is DMCI Homes. This is the house that David built. In 1954, he started as a builder. A builder who hones talents and creates leaders. We're engineers, architects, craftsmen. For us, building isn't just an occupation. It is a calling, a vocation, a passion. This is our heritage. This is DMCI Homes. In times both good and tough, we've risen through the rough. A house of grit and resilience, strength and versatility, standing strong against crisis and adversity.
When we started, we said we wanted to be like the Japanese companies we admired. It was always about quality and superior value.
This is our foundation. This is DMCI Homes. The first quadruple A developer in the country. Building with value, integrity, and quality.
We always provide the best housing solutions. Otherwise, we become irrelevant. To us, it's more than a business. It's a profession.
This is our pride. This is DMCI Homes. Since 1999, we have completed more than 40 properties, with many more on the way. This is DMCI Homes today. A place for many to live, to enjoy, to stay.
Our projects speak of our promise to our customers. They are our advertisements, and our residents are brand ambassadors.
This is our testament. This is DMCI Homes. We're not just builders, we're innovators too. Setting trends, staying ahead of the bend.
For us, each property is a design sandbox. We're constantly learning, improving, growing for the better.
This is our edge. This is DMCI Homes. In every community, we have a range of amenities and activities, bringing contentment, convenience, and bliss.
More than the physical structures, we provide an environment where people can learn and grow. We develop this level of commitment to our community wherein we take care of our customers even after turnover.
This is our signature. This is DMCI Homes.
It's love at first sight. You have good surroundings, environment, the design of the buildings, fresh air, safety, security.
After a busy day at work, going home to a place like Cedar Crest, I feel like I'm going to Boracay with just about 15 to 30 minutes away from BGC with fast turnaround on time. So it's very relaxing going home.
I like Verwoods because you can do a lot of fun and enjoyable things here. You can play basketball, you can swim, and me and my sister play football drills here.
This is our community. This is DMCI Homes. As industry leaders, craftsmen, innovators, and builders,
We build homes.
We shape dreams.
We lay the foundation for nation building.
With skill, with passion,
with dedication, today and for future generations.
This is DMCI Homes.
This is DMCI Homes.
This is DMCI Homes!
Okay, maraming salamat sa ating another reliable partner sa DMCI. Di ba, partner? Matagal na nating partner ang DMCI.
Mga walang sawang gumagabay sa atin. Salamat po. Maraming salamat sa ating mga partners.
So anyway, before we proceed, meron na po tayong dalawang winners. And we are going to announce their names mamaya before we end up our program. So right now, we would like to proceed for our speaker, si Sir Ricky So, to continue his presentation para marinig ulit ang kanyang magandang golden voice. Sir Ricky, take it away.
Okay, so let me pull up my screen. So I believe I stopped at discussing about REIT or Ayala Land, which is was launched last I think August 13, no? Okay. So to give you what Ayala Land did, no, is it used to be a Juan de la Rosa development. It's and then REIT is a property company organized as real estate investment trust that invests and manages a portfolio of income generating assets with the purpose of producing stable returns. Okay. So incorporated by Ayala Land offices in 2006. It then transferred two properties, the Solaris 1 building and the Ayala North Exchange, worth 6.9 billion in exchange for the new shares. So in 2020, that's when again REIT boosted their holdings by leasing the McKinley Exchange office, for 34 years. So I mentioned a while ago that this can be part of your portfolio, together with the three income generating properties that comprise the assets of REIT. is now valued at 27.7 billion based on the IPO price. The IPO price was 27 pesos per share. Okay. So REIT will sell up to 49% of the company to the public for 13 billion pesos, where 90% of the proceeds or 11 billion pesos will go to Ali, while the remaining 9.5% or the 1.3 billion will go to the REIT. Right after the IPO, assuming all the shares have been sold, including the overallotment options, Ali's effective control of REIT will fall to 51%. So they still have a control. Okay. So the price of REIT, as I mentioned, is 27. Right after the IPO, REIT plans to expand its portfolio by acquiring a fourth property located in Cebu IT Park with a gross leasable area of 17,000 square meters or 1.4 billion. Known as Teleperformance Cebu, this property is a grade A PESA accredited mixed-use development that consists of 2 BPO office towers completed in 2010. So by the end of the year, REIT will have a total gross leasable area of 170,703 square meters, with BPO operations occupying 66%, total spaces, followed by service apartments, 15%, headquarter offices of 12%, and others 7%. So that's an example of a REIT that we just recently experienced. Personally, I bought some REIT shares, and I will show you what will be the strategy on how to maximize your earnings, in this particular REIT program. So the REIT law. Okay, let's talk about the law. The objectives, as mentioned, is to promote the development of the capital market, to democratize wealth by broadening the participation of the Filipinos in the ownership of real estate in the Philippines. So with the REIT, it simplifies the ownership of, a property. But of course, it's going to be in a form of shares. Okay. And mostly Filipinos, would like to, walang bragging rights when you own the shares. Okay. You just have to be, gratified inside. Use the capital market as an instrument to help finance and develop infrastructure projects to protect the investing public. So apart from spreading the opportunity, it is also intended to protect, the investing public, as kung saan sila pwede maglagay ng pera. So to come up with the REIT, if you are looking at putting up a REIT, because this is the intention, is not just for the big players to be able to join or execute this this law. It is intended for everyone. So the company must have at least 300 million paid in capital. So I believe any group with enthusiasm on real estate would be able to come up with this capitalization. This company must follow the rules of securities listing by the PSE. It should be listed with the Philippine Stock Exchange. The reason why it has to be listed, so that it will be governed by the PSE, and that there will be a smooth transaction of the shares, and that it will provide some form of liquidity. So unlike when you have your own property, the main risk of real estate is actually liquidity. Then, as mentioned a while ago, the minimum public ownership must at least be 33% of the outstanding capital stock. MPO, I saw a question a while ago, the minimum public ownership must at least be comprised of 1,000 shareholders, individuals or entities, holding at least 50 shares each. So if Ayala REIT, our REIT is priced at 27 pesos per share, then you simply have to multiply this by 50 shares. So that is just how much, that is only 1,350. Okay. So, but then I believe at 27, the board lot can be as small as 100 shares. So that is only, 2,700. That is as the lowest possible, entry value or amount an investor can do. The board of directors should consist of one-third or at least of two independent directors. Okay. Compensation of directors and officers must not exceed 10% of the net income. Okay. In order to, of course, not to abuse the corporation. Okay. Property manager and fund manager's respective fee must not exceed 1% of the net asset value of the company. A REIT will have to use or contract the services of a property manager and a fund manager. So later on, we will discuss the roles of the property and fund manager. The REIT company must have 75 of its assets be in the form of income-generating real estate venture. They can also invest, in overseas real estate, but up to a maximum of 40% of their assets. And these investments must also be, income generating. And there also should be in real estate. Real estate to be acquired, just in case, must have at least a 3-year track record of income. Minimum of 15% exposure to any allowable assets, or maximum, wherein they can invest in government securities. But if it's government securities, they can invest 25% maximum. So note that the REIT company realizes, the rent income on a monthly basis. Some entities even pay in advance. So it would appear, it will happen that these real estate REIT companies will have also investable funds. That's why they need to maximize these assets, for the benefit of the shareholders. That's why there is a need to employ a fund manager. They can enter into corporate bond or of non-property companies with the rating of A by the accredited Philippine rating agency. I believe that is going to be Philippine Rating Services. They must pay out, this is non-negotiable, 90% of income as dividends. The dividend payment is tax deductible. Okay. Dividend income is subject to 15% tax. This is when you would be able to perhaps realize, what will be the advantage of, say, Ayala going into a REIT, as opposed to operating as an ordinary corporation, in realizing their income. Without the REIT, their income is going to be charged as much as 30%, corporate tax. But if they will actually put into a REIT, part of the income is going to be, will have a tax advantage of saving at least 15%. If a shareholder is an OFW, of course, we want them to participate as well. He or she is going to be tax exempt for 7 years. Tax exempt on the area of dividend tax. Okay. So a REIT, as I said, I use the word engage. They don't necessarily employ. They engage. They contract the services of a property manager and a fund manager. So the property manager should be able to manage the real assets of the company, And the fund manager should be able to manage the financial assets. So what does it take to become a property manager? It shall possess sufficient human, organizational, and technical resources for proper performance of the duties, including 2 responsible officers who would be accountable. Each should have an experience of 5 years track record in property portfolio management, and at least 1 responsible officer shall be available at all times to supervise the business of the property manager, including asset and property management. Number 2, a property manager shall maintain satisfactory internal controls and written compliance procedures as required by the regulators. It shall have sufficient financial resources at its disposal to enable it to conduct its business effectively and meet its liabilities. So the property manager is a company, that is engaged by the REIT. Okay. On the other hand, a fund manager is likewise appointed or engaged by the REIT company. It must be a duly licensed and appropriate by the appropriate Philippine regulatory agency engaged in the business of fund management. That is normally BSP. If the fund manager is a trust entity, it shall be covered by the existing BSP rules and regulation governing trust. And for the regulations that BSP may issue from time to time, because regulation changes once in a while. With at least 3-year track record in the area of fund management, corporate finance, and other relevant finance-related functions. The fund manager must also have a minimum or assigned capital in the case of foreign corporation, 100 million pesos, or its equivalent in foreign currency, which shall remain unimpaired at any given time. Otherwise, capital infusion is necessary or required 3 days after impairment. Okay. So the stability of the fund management company or the fund manager is also foremost. The fund manager must have sufficient human, organizational, and technical resources with proper performance of his duties, including 2 officers or a trust officer who must be duly trained and licensed, in case of a trust entity, to supervise the business of the fund manager. Under RA 9856, there are 3 types of REITs. As I mentioned, it is an equity REIT, a mortgage REIT, and a hybrid. A hybrid is essentially a combination of an equity REIT and a mortgage REIT. So let's define what an equity REIT is. So I don't have to come up with my own definition. I pulled this up from investopedia.com. Equity real estate investment trusts are the most common type of REIT. They acquire, manage, build, renovate, and sell income-producing real estate. So they can also get into build and sell. Their revenues are mainly generated through rental incomes and their real estate holdings. An equity REIT may invest broadly, or it may focus on a particular segment. Okay, which means an equity REIT targets ownership, of these properties primarily, On the other hand, mortgage REIT, is a little bit tricky. They invest in mortgages, okay? Example, assume company ABC qualifies as a REIT. It buys an office building with the funds generated from investors and rents out the office space. Company ABC owns and manages this real estate property and collects rent every month from its tenants. There is an equity REIT. That is clear. However, assume company XYZ qualifies as a REIT and lends money to the real estate developer. Unlike ABC, XYZ generates income from the interest earned on the loans. Therefore, XYZ is considered a mortgage REIT. So a mortgage REIT is like a financier for a REIT, an equity REIT. Okay, so it would somehow qualify like any banking lending institutions or financial institutions. It is just it operates under the purview of the law Republic Act 9856 in order to be able to be protected by or to benefit from the provisions of that law. Okay. An example of a mortgage REIT is this one. Okay. It is my investment. If you would notice, this is in the US. Okay. I don't look at the price. I just look at the dividend yield. I've been investing into this stock since 2009. As I started investing in the overseas market in 2008. So I learned about this, as advised by one of my advisors in the US, to consider this. And even my parent company at the time, AIG was buying this particular stock. So notice that the yield is 11.88%. That is the dividend yield. And I have never seen, rarely do I see this particular stock falling on a single digit dividend yield. And it keeps on paying that yield. However, in the United States, the dividend tax is relatively high at 25%. So even at 25%, you take it from about 12% dividend, you will have a net of, a little less than 9% dollar terms. Okay. But that is not actually the trick. The trick here is this. Once you receive the dividends, you must be able to reinvest it back to the REIT as much as possible, if you can. Because by then, you are buying more shares of the company, and over time, the number of shares you have with the company will just grow. Okay? That is the trick. So just imagine if the company is going to earn at the rate of 9%, you will be able to double your money in about 8 years' time on the dividends alone, not to mention on the appreciation of the capital. That is the trick. So unless you are a retiree that is dependent on the income that will support you for your monthly requirements, then so be it. REIT is a good income generating, investment without the worry of liquidity, without the worry of, management of the property, without worry of paying uh, annual real estate tax, and of course, without worry of maintenance. Okay. So REIT actually um, makes it convenient, for investors who might be looking at generating an income from a property investment. So what are the pros and cons? As I've already mentioned, the pros, the advantage of REIT is liquid, which is the main downside actually of real estate. You are diversified, in terms of your assets, and sometimes properties have the tendency, given in the right sector, they don't move, in relation to the cyclical times. It is transparent because you can very well see, the books of the corporation as the right of a stockholder. It is steady dividends, like I said. I have experienced more than 10 years of double-digit, dividends from that particular stock, and risk-adjusted returns. Okay. On the other side, the downside, of course, there's no perfect investment. There is a low capital appreciation, because that is why I suggested that you really have to reinvest your dividends in order to put a little kick, on your investment. Because if you just keep on getting the dividends and then spending it, it's not much going to do you so much benefit. So because capital appreciation is relatively not much. Non-tax advantage, well, this is definitely it's some portions of it are taxable depending on your position. But of course, for the part of a REIT proponent, they would like to see that there is a tax advantage, and it is subject to market risk because the prices you would always see, in the newspaper, in the news, and in an online platform, how much your shares is doing. So perhaps that is a disadvantage because in real estate, if you own a piece of land, you don't see the price. That's why you don't panic, whenever real estate prices fall. Okay. And of course, the management fee and the transaction fee. So uh, to each his own. This particular instrument has its own pros and cons, and definitely it's not the ultimate form of investment, but certainly it provides certain advantages to some type of investors, and only if you would know a good strategy. So actually, that is the end of my presentation. Uh, I hope you are able to learn something. The REIT, if I may add, because I didn't have time to put this in the presentation, will actually serve several sectors in the market. Of course, it is intended for the individual investors like you and me to be able to have a portfolio of real estate, a piece of what Ayala has. Okay. Apart from buying Ayala land, okay, you can buy REIT because REIT provides you dividend. You know for a fact that you will be earning somehow little by little along the way on a quarterly basis. I believe the dividend rate of REIT right now stands at about 5%, per annum, which is a lot better than even your time deposits, no? On the other hand, another opportunity for the REIT law is for developers, no, for would-be property developers that can consider, the tax advantage, the convenience, you know, of getting into the REIT. Of course, the downside there is that you will be under the scrutiny of the regulators, no. But of course, it would be very easy to build the capital. It would be very easy for them to realize their dreams, no. So of course, on the part of the government, they would also benefit from this because then with the perhaps with the robust REIT industry, that would mean more projects that will be generated, more activities, more economic activity that will benefit you know um, basically a lot of people because as we know for a fact, real estate is actually a multiplier asset, when it is created, in an economy such as ours. So it will spur development, in the countryside. So before I end, I would like to share with you what I do. Okay. Uh, I just thought about this that you can consider me as a partner. You can subscribe to my Fast Exchange. I would like to think that I am a money tamer. Tamer stands for I teach about money. That is one of my passion. I advise on the money. Okay. I can manage your money, your earn extra money from it as well by referring a client to me. So I have this Fast Exchange, which I started writing about in 2017, and I provide a weekly free newsletter to interested participants about the financial market. I always write about definitely the stock market, the interest rates, the economy, as well as the peso dollar exchange rate. So incidentally, I predicted the appreciation of the dollar since when it was 53. I recommended my clients to sell their dollars when it was 53, and now it's 48.50. You can like my Facebook page too in order to get more insights and excerpts. To show to you one of my premium service, this is what I am heavy on right now. I have a Regis program wherein I said it's a low risk, high returning, investment strategy that provides both income and growth. Because hardly would you actually put together, it's either you have an income, and then you don't have growth, or you have growth and then you don't have an income. So an example of which is my registry, wherein I provide 4%, annual income and a growth potential between 6 to 16% in 3 years' time. For 5 years, I provide 5% net income paid out on a quarterly basis and the growth potential of about 17 to 14%. I can actually handle as long as 7 years and provide 6% net income paid on a quarterly basis, that will provide an 8 to 13%, compounded annual growth after 7 years. So with that, Mr. Jim, that is the end of my presentation. So that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sir Ricky. You're right on time. Galing ka talaga sa oras, ano. Anyway, just please take a break, and later on we'll try to call you back for the Q&A portion.
Yes.
Many have already sent in their questions, and you'll
Sure.
be burdened by these questions
I would
later
be
on.
happy. I will be happy to answer them.
So meantime, sabi ko kanina, maghanap buhay muna tayo. We'll try
Okay.
to call in ang ating one of the sponsors again, loyal sponsors, SMDC. Do we have the presenter now?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you so much. This will just be very quick because I've been joining you. I think this is now the 5th time. Oh, wait, I don't have my video. There. So good morning once again. My name is Floy Vallespin. So on your past webinars, I've already shared with you why is it good to be part of SMDC, specifically with our team, which is SMDC Brokers Network Team FCB. So now I would like to join you again to look into your SMDC opportunity because we're offering double commission until the end of the month. So say, for example, the standard commission is 5%, we will double it, making it 10%. So say, for example, you were able to sell at least 5 million worth of property or project, your commission will be roughly 500,000 already for just one account. And that is on top of the incentives that we are giving away to the selling broker and to the local chapter. So yun din, ang isa pa pong invitation ko is for the local chapters to get in touch with us. I will be sending my contact information on the chat box so you can contact me so we can present the opportunity to your respective organizations. So you can capitalize on or maximize whatever incentives that we are giving away. For the organizations, it's ranging from 1,500 pesos to 10,000 per account. So imagine if, say, for example, a member sells at least 2 units na 10 million, you're getting, I think, kung hindi ako nagkakamali, 16,000 for that 2 units. Yun pa lang yun ah. What if, say, for example, you have 80 members, kahit 8 lang doon ang magbenta sa isang buwan, so malaki na talagang income din for the organization. And separate pa yung incentive na binibigay natin doon sa mga members po ninyo. So again, look at us as your sustainable source of funding for the organization and your sustainable source of income as a broker as well. Because right now, it's so hard to go out, nakakatakot, baka pag uwi mo sa bahay, ang laki nga nung kinita mo sa brokerage, pero pag uwi mo ng bahay, magpapagamot ka naman ng sarili mo at ng pamilya mo kasi may dala ka ng virus. With project selling, specifically with our team, we're doing everything online, 100% work from home. A lot of your co-members here can attest to that. And if, say, for example, you're new into brokerage, we are here to support you. No need for you to panic, paano hahawakan yung tao, paano sila iti-train, i-insert nyo lang sila sa training program na meron yung team natin and you're good to go. So once again, my name is Floy Vallespin, Sales Director and also a licensed real estate broker of SM Development Corporation. And again and again and again, I won't get tired inviting you to be part of our story. Let us be, tayong mga brokers, licensed brokers, let us be the Wagyu beef of the stake of SMBC. Ibig sabihin, dapat tayong significant contributor pagdating sa sales. Hindi lang tayo dapat 10% contribution sa sales for the entire year ng SMBC. We must be at least the 50% because we are licensed practitioners. Maraming salamat po at magandang araw.
Partner Esme,
Yes, partner.
kumusta ka na dyan? Tahimik na tahimik ka ah.
Nakikinig kasi ako sa mga speakers natin. O, di ba?
Ay, ganun ba? Anyway, would like to thank Ma'am Floy again for gracing our occasion. As usual, talaga namang alive na alive ang dating mo, ano? Iba talaga pagka, personal ang presentation, ano, di ba? Partner Esme,
Ayoko pong uma-absent dito.
100% attendance ka. Just for showing up, you passed the examination. Thank you, madam. Thank you very much. So meantime, we'll now announce the winners of the quiz. 2 winners, which will be announced by our VP for Internal Affairs, CRB Margaret Gao.
Thank you, Kirby, Jim, for the endorsing. Anyway, for our first winner, it will be from Makati chapter, CRB Maria Elisa Ordonio. So congratulations for your fast answer on the question and on the answer of RA 9856. Thank you very much, CRB Maria Elisa Ordonio. So please let us know. I'll send you the link how to put your details so we can send your price of 500 pesos. $500 ba? CRB Sec Jim? Anyway, for the second winner, baka bigla akong madulas ito maging $500 eh. Nako. Alam mo, pag nag-i-invest tayo, kailangan medyo malakihan kagad. So, ipon-ipon ulit tapos para may investment tayo sa REIT natin. Okay, for our second winner will be from REBAP, Manila. So, Manila chapter, CRB Leonida Co. So, congratulations. Realty, of course, our company. Yes. So take it away, Tech Jim, and also Ma'am Esme.
Okay, we'll have now the announcements and it will be delivered by my partner.
Okay.
Partner Esme.
Ito, partner, itong announcement na to.
Yes.
As part of National Leadership Training for our chapter presidents and vice presidents, we will be having our chairman of the board, Madam CRB Emily, and her topic will be the Robert's Rule of Order, Protocol, and Decorum. So this is for our chapter presidents and vice presidents. It will be on August 27, 2 to 5 p.m.
Partner Esme, mukhang inclusive na yung ibang mga officers ng chapters. So practically the whole board of the chapter is going to attend. So lahat inclusive na, lahat na sila, not only the vice presidents.
All of the board members of each chapter.
Yes. Okay. They are potential leaders kasi ng ating association, so they should have to be guided.
Yeah, yan ang kagandahan ng REBAP member because we are always doing for the benefits of our members, not only for our officers, but as a whole.
What else? What other announcements do you have there?
Announcement comment on the
SecGen and
Yes,
SB.
Madam President.
I'm so happy of your announcement because most board of directors ng mga chapters also wanted to join. Sabi nila, bakit naman mga VPs lang? So, the last time na pinag-usapan namin ay officers. Therefore, yung mga board of trustees hindi pa rin kasali. But this time, since coming from you guys na it is all the board of directors ng chapters will join na. So thank you so much for the update.
Okay. So next also we have another seminar, webinar, September 11 and 18. 11 and 18. And October 9 and 23. October schedule would probably be given 3 units, credit units, but we're just working on that. But in the meantime, just stay put and wait for the announcement. But eventually, if it is given, then it would be beneficial for all of us.
All right.
Also, we have also chapter seminars. I'm going to announce it also. We have August 20. Oh, it's done. Naga chapter ongoing today and tomorrow. Makati chapter, they have their salesperson training seminar, August 28 and 29, 8 credit units. Dumaguete, they have 29 and 30. Rizal chapter for salesperson, October 2 and 3. Cavite chapter, they have September 5 and 6, 8 credit units. Lawag, they have September 19 and 20. Also, I think we have Metro Tagaytay on October 5 and 6. October 5 and 6. Now we're going to proceed now to the quiz show again. We're going to throw into 2 questions. Maybe we can ask Sir Ricky to give the 2 questions. Would you like to do it, Sir Ricky?
Hello.
Yes, Sir Ricky, would you like to do the honors of asking the questions?
Pinagtrabaho mo pa ako, ha?
Una lang.
Okay. Okay, sige. If they are really listening,
Yeah.
if they are really listening, what is the dividend yield being offered by Ayala? REIT. Ang galing. May sumagot kagad.
Oo, ang bilis nga nila eh. Ang sumagot.
Correct.
Okay.
That's about 5%. Yung 9%, yan yung sa US. Mali yan.
Okay, second question, sir.
The next one. Okay. Hirap pa. Okay. What is the minimum number of shares that you can buy an REIT with? Ayun, meron na kagad.
Okay. So ang bibilis nila, ibig sabihin, Sir Ricky, nakikinig talaga, ano?
Okay, oo.
Kasi learning session
yung iba lang,
talaga
mali
to
ang pagkinig ng iba, mali ang pakinig.
Isang tenga lang, sir, ginamit yan. Isang tenga lang.
Correct. 50 shares. 50 shares the minimum.
So anyway, thank you very much. Thank you very much once again,
You're
sir.
welcome.
Okay, meantime, we're going now to proceed to the Q&A portion of our webinar. So we have around, dami nating question dito, sir. Ha? So might as well... Sige.
Libre ako hanggang alas 8.
Ng gabi, sir?
Gabi, oo. Huwag na umaga.
Kala ko bukas pa.
So meantime, do we choose already? Have we chosen?
Attorney Wally ang nanalo sa second question.
50 shares.
Ang Cynthia Pasis.
Madam, mamaya na announce yan.
Okay.
Disqualified daw pag kami preemptive announcement.
Oo nga, sorry naman. Sorry, na-disqualified pa yata.
Sir, question dito. From Crisanto de la Puz. What are the requirements for an investor to join REIT?
To buy a REIT.
Yeah, to buy a REIT.
To buy a REIT, as an investor, what's important is that you are a Filipino citizen and you possess a TIN number. because the first entry, hindi naman prohibitive ang pagsali ng ng REIT. In fact, the moment that you pass as a client, of a stockbroker, you need to have a stockbroker account. Eligible ka nang bumili ng REIT. Ganun lang yun. So it's just like buying any ordinary stock, and you normally course it through a broker. Now, for some reason, wala kang broker, bumili ka ng REIT during the IPO, automatic yung pinagbilhan mo, either bank or financial institution, will assign a broker to you because in any IPO, there is like a designated stockbroker. Doon mapupunta yung shares mo. Pero syempre, kailangan mo ng usual requirements, much like any requirements to open a bank. You need an ID, you need a TIN, okay, and a proof of billing. So, of course, personal appearance para AMLA, anti-money laundering requirements. That should be very easy kapag, hindi ka kriminal.
Okay, second. Yes.
Ang madali lang sa atin.
Ibig sabihin, ako dyan, qualified ako, hindi ako criminal.
Yes. Madali lang sa atin.
Sige, may question ka, Madam Press? Or what?
I think maraming question dyan Si Press Dante Pulusan, may maganda siyang question kanina.
Oo nga. Pero unahin ko muna to kay Tristan Talavera.
Okay.
Is it profitable for REITs now as office leasing if in the time of pandemic?
Well, for one, if we're going to take example Ayala REIT, it was offered at 27, correct?
Yep.
And it went down to as low as 24 because marami nga nagbenta rin, no? But at 24, bumalik siya kagad ng 26. So just imagine from 27 to 24, that's about 3 pesos. That's more than 10% drop, right? So kung binili mo ng 24 yun, ahead ka na kagad ng 10% pag bumalik siya ng 27. Now, the question now is, maraming worried about the situation, the pandemic. Alam niyo, sa totoo lang, hindi magtatagal to, matatapos din ito eh. Hindi ba? And ang investment mo long term. So pag nakakita ka na ng magandang presyo, sa REIT, bilihin mo na. And then wait for the dividends. Huwag mo na tingnan yung presyo. Dividendo mo, i-reinvest mo. And that is for sure, for me, going to be, profitable for you in the future. Now, kung yung problem ng leasing, that's going to be the problem of the property manager. Eventually, right now, medyo may halt ng konti because of the pandemic. But anong timetable? I think by next year, tapos na ito eh. So, balikan ulit lahat yan. Di ba? And they really have to continue business. And the government is also very much, wanting to already open up the economy. And we can actually live with the virus. Hindi ba? Hindi natin hihintayin totally mawala yan bago tayo bumalik sa normal na buhay natin. One way or the other in the future, we have to live with the virus. Anyway, the mortality rate is low. What's important is may vaccine at may gamot na dyan. In fact, may gamot na nga offer sa akin yung kaibigan ko sa US. So if that gets to be widespread, the fear factor is going to come down, and we'll go back to normal. Of course, iba na yung new normal, meron tayong face shield, meron tayong mask, meron very tayo ngayon, very sensitive tayo sa personal hygiene natin. But this is going to be temporary. Now, if you are an investor, you look at this as perhaps a downside. Ako ang tingin ko dyan, it's an upside. Yung downside na yan. Diba? Because then, potentially, I'm sure, Ayala, yun nga, bumaba yung presyo, but then eventually, bumalik ulit. So, any bagsak ng presyo ng REIT na yan, some people will see it as an opportunity. So, ikaw din, dapat makita mo rin ng ganoon. Okay?
That's quite an answer, sir. Thank you. Again, from Dante Bulusan, Sir Dante ng Lawag. Question, is the capital invested in REIT guaranteed? How long is the ideal time to invest in REIT?
Walang guarantee po sa investment, no? Dahil yung risk natin diyan pag umakyat bumaba ang presyo. Ang masasabi ko lang sa iyo, hindi mauubos yung pera mo. Now, in terms of long-term investment, in terms of investment horizon, pag bumili ka ba ng lupa ngayon, kailan mo gustong ibenta yan? You treat it as a real estate, right? You need to time to ripen it, to sell it at the right price, right? So it takes time. Ganun din yan. So you treat it as a real estate investment in a paper form. Hintayin mo tumaas ang presyo, then you can decide to sell. Or you may just wait for the dividends to just arrive as you accumulate shares. Then eventually pagtanda mo, 'di ba? Retirement, that forms part of your income.
So Ricky, what you're saying is that if you want to take advantage of the capital appreciation, say like, for instance, you invest at 27 and it goes up to 38 and you're happy with that gap, then you can sell it, right?
Yeah, you can sell it. You can even partially sell it. That's a nice thing about REIT. Unlike in a property, bumili ka ng 1,000 square meters, gusto mong ibenta yung 200, hindi. Kung isang titulo lang yun ng 1,000, benta mo ng buong 1,000, right? Pero kung meron kang 10,000 shares, for example, you want to sell 500 at each time, you can do so. Diba?
So, yes. Next question from Edna Juan. How do you dispose your shares in REIT?
Well, through the stockbroker as well. You place a sell order, and then kung may bibili doon, yung parang i-offer mo, 'di ba? Parang real estate din yan na may buyer price, merong seller's price. Merong distance palagi yan, 'di ba? Buyers would like to buy it at the low, seller would like to sell it at a high. But in the market, mas mabilis yung transaction because they are in small chunks, okay? And as long as bibilihin yung presyo mo, makakapagbenta ka. And our REIT is actually very liquid because it's a big issue or offer.
Okay, thank you. Another question, sir. Medyo maganda-ganda sa ano to, pandinig mo to. How much minimum do we have to invest in regis or fast exchange?
3 million.
Ang bilis ng sagot. Ang bilis ng sagot eh. May hinimatay. Meron sir hinimatay.
Pagkatamahin na natin yung pera natin. Siguro makaka-raise na rin tayo ng 3 million.
Nako ma'am, ang daming pera sa merkado, alam niyo ba? The recent bond offer of the government, they were able to raise what? 526 billion pesos. That earns only 2.6% per annum for 5 years.
Yeah, that's for government bonds, no?
For government bonds. So, secured yun eh. Sigurado yun.
Yes.
Ako, for 5 years, I offer you 5% net, pero may upside. Isa lang ang kalaban natin. West Valley Fault.
Yeah.
Yun lang po.
So, I guess that answers your question. Another question from John Simon. What is your expectation or projection of REIT in the Philippines in the next 5 to 10 years?
Well, there should be a lot more participants right now considering that the IRR was made favorable. So simple lang kasi yan eh. Parang nakita kaagad ni Ayala yan. In fact, nakita na nila kaagad noon yan, even SMDC. Pag nag-develop ako ng sarili kong property, kikita ako ng pera, di ba? I will be charged with a corporate tax of 15%. When I created a REIT, the income tax on the income that will be in the form of dividend will be charged 15%. And then I can raise money pa. And I can actually, develop it at a very cheaper cost. So I would like to think that there would be a lot of potential, for the REIT, to flourish in the Philippines, as we have a lot of property developers, and there is really a big demand, considering that I know for a fact that we have a very, very we have a big deficit when it comes to housing. So that this could very well be one of the solution to the housing problem of the Philippines. So I'm
Okay.
positive of the future.
Anyway, partner Esme, baka meron kang gustong itanong din.
Ito lang from Rizal Junior Sally. Sir Ricky, can we ask po for suggestion and recommended top 3 stockbroker company in the country?
Oh, you can have BPI, you can have First Metro. Yung mga bangko na yan, BPI may broker yan. First Metro, Metrobank may broker yan. Yung BDO may broker yan. And of course, the more popular Call Financial. So, and they are all online, which means that even during this quarantine, you can open an account. Okay.
Sir Ricky, question.
Yes, sure.
On the issue of online, would it make a difference or is it advantageous to trade with them than to trade with the BDO, BPI or Metrobank? They're all online, right?
Yung bangko mismo cannot accommodate you pagdating sa REIT transaction. It is their sister company who is a stockbroker who can do that. So, but then hindi kanila entertain. Pero you can course perhaps the account opening to their branch. Tutulungan ka, you know. But after that, you would really be on your own, you know, dealing online. Now, you can already transact, no? There's a tutorial. You can do it much like an online banking, you know, transaction. And it's actually safer than your online bank account because your online bank account can be hacked. Ang daming mga balita ngayon. Pero yung online securities broker mo, walang ganansya yung hacker dyan kasi hindi pwedeng i-pay out yan other than you. Unlike your bank account, pwedeng i-pay out another bank account. That is the risk. So, walang difference actually.
So, thank you. Anyway, another question from Mency Ancheta, just to satisfy yung question niya. Are REIT investments made to registered REIT companies covered or secured by an insurance like our deposits to banks? We have the PDAC for a minimum amount of 500,000. Just for clarification.
No, because a deposit requires an insurance because it is the bank that will be using your money. They are essentially borrowing from you. Dito sa REIT, it is better than time deposit. It's better than deposit. Because sa PDIC, you're only covered up to 500,000 of your deposit. So if you have 1 million, pag may nangyari sa bangko, babayaran ka lang ng kalahati. 500,000, di ba? Right now, that is the level. But when you put 1 million in a REIT, ang security mo dyan is that you are part owner of the company. Part owner ka ng real estate holdings ng company. Therefore, your shareholdings is covered 1:1. Kahit na 10 million yung pera mo, 50 million yung pera mo, may mangyari doon sa company, that should be the value. More or less. Hindi siya 500,000 lang. So there is no need for an insurance because your investment is already insured, quote unquote, diba? By the properties of the company. And you own the company. So why do you have to be, you know, insured against its misbehavings, no? So watch, ano yan, ang liable dyan yung mga director. So ownership ito kaya hindi kailangan ng insurance katulad ng deposit. 'Di ba? Kasi parang binibili mo yung mga properties nung Ayala. So yun na yung security mo.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Anyway, meron nagtataas ng mga kamay. Just a reminder, kailangan po ilagay natin po sa Q&A box ang ating mga tanong para masagot ito. Okay. Next question from Aida Cardona. Obviously, this Ma'am Aida has participated, ano? Mukhang nakabili na siya. Sabi niya, I bought at 25.75 lately. They
Okay,
have
good.
25.75
Mhm.
per share. They have
Mhm.
additional docs like waiver. Ano po yun? Honestly, haven't read it yet. Aida, ano raw po yung waiver na tinatawag?
Bakit may waiver?
Hindi niya pa kasi
I'm
nabasa,
not.
sir eh. So hindi niya pa
Ah,
nabasa. Hindi niya pa nabasa yung
teka,
waiver.
teka. Parang alam ko yan. Kasi may pinapapirma din sa akin na waiver. Parang kasi because of the quarantine, I think kaya merong waiver na yan. I will ask my broker. Teka muna. Nandito yan eh. Tinext siya sa akin eh. Pero no harm about that. That is basically a usual requirement. Pero you are not waiving any rights or whatsoever. You will not get into trouble if you will sign that up. Wait lang, titignan ko yung tinext sa akin nung
Sir Ricky?
Sige. Anyway, we
Could
can
it-
proceed and then come
Yeah.
back to it.
Yeah, okay. So any other question, Partner Esme?
From Primitivo Pelden, how to locate the names of the 67 REIT companies and what are some
mutual
indicators for us to invest safely in REIT company?
So the 67 companies that I pointed out these are investment companies. These are mutual funds. So ang REIT pa lang natin yung REIT. Iba ang mutual fund. Ang mutual fund, nag-i-invest yan sa stocks, sa bonds, saka sa money market. Itong REIT, specific to real estate. So ang mga mutual funds, hindi sila pwedeng mag-invest sa real estate. Only in real estate property stocks, katulad ng Ayala Land, tulad ng DMCI, SMDC, DMC. Yan ang mga binibili ng mga funds. Pero bawal silang bumili ng talagang properties, physical. Only an REIT or a REIT can do that. Okay? So makipag-ugnayan po kayo sa akin kung gusto po ninyo pa ng mga ibang tulong. All you have to do is to register to my website, www.thefastexchange.com, and then sasagutin ko po kayo, tutulungan ko po kayo kung ano man yung tanong ninyo. Libre po yun.
Process me, meron ka pa? Do you have?
Parang wala na akong nakikita.
Okay. Dito kay Chris de la Puz, follow-up question. Can we buy REIT shares via online brokers at PSE website?
Not on the PSE website. You have to have a different broker. The PSE website is non-transactional. It's basically informational. Yung broker na online, yun ang transactional. Katulad ng sinabi kong BDO Securities, BPI Securities, First Metrosec Securities, Call Financial. Yan yung mga dapat na pag bubuksan mo ng account para ka makabili na ng REIT. And they are a requirement. You cannot go around them. Kailangan sila yung pass through. Ganoon.
Hindi, okay. Maraming salamat, Sir Ricky.
Walang anuman.
Question from Ma'am Chari Reyes. What is the maximum investment in REIT? Sa Ayala REIT Ayala REIT. Meaning how many shares can an investor buy?
None. You can buy the whole 13 billion if you like, if it can be sold. No limit yan. Kung ano lang yung naka-issue. So that's about, di ba, pinakita natin, ang in-issue is 1/3, di ba? 1/3 of the whole thing. So that's about 13 billion. So 13 billion, that is the maximum that you can buy a REIT. Pero pag ako may 13 billion, tinanong mo, ba't pa ako bibili ng REIT? Gagawa ako ng sarili kong REIT. Di ba? And then pwede kitang tulungan. Ako gawin mong consultant.
Okay.
No maximum.
Okay, we're not going to entertain mga anonymous attendee. We're not. We're just trying to to satisfy yung questions ng baka anonymous answer maibigay natin eh. Anyway, sabi niya, how about po itong from Ralph Roger Tapaw? How about po itong company ng Robinsons, Altus Property Ventures Inc.?
Oh, ano yan? Altus Property Ventures ay isang subsidiary ng Robinson. Okay? Nasa ano sila, nasa retail din sila. Pero hindi sila considered REIT. Okay? Yang Altus na yan, bigyan kita ng background, Jim. Okay?
Sir, sama mo na yung mga members na iba.
Para sa inyo lahat, no? Ganito yan, nakakatuwa yan eh. Kasi yung Altus na yan, binigay yan ng Robinsons as a property dividend. Ibig sabihin, pag may-ari ng Robinson, binigay niya yung shares ng Altus, dividendo sa mga may-ari ng Robinson Land. Nakakuha ako niyan. Okay? Ngayon, hindi mo alam kung anong value noon, ano? And then they were listed on the stock market by way of introduction. Pag linist yan ng by way of introduction, as opposed to an IPO, walang limit ang galaw niyan. So nag-open yung presyo, 10 pesos. Ang unang transaction, 40 pesos. Pagdating ng 30 minutes in the opening, umakyat siya ng 240 pesos.
Wow.
Correct? Nagising ako alas 10. Alas 10 na. Tinetrade ko. Sabi niya, sir, meron kang Alto. Sabi ko, anong presyo? 100. Sabi ko, benta mo na yan, 100. Pagdating ng sarado ng alauna, alam mo ang presyo? 1850 na laglag. The following day, sabi ko, magkano kinita natin? Sabi niya, sir, 20,000. Sabi niya, o sige, bili mo ng Altus yan, 20,000. The following day, sabi ko, buy Altus at the opening, 20 pesos. The following day, umakyat ng 40 pesos. The following day, on the third day, umakyat ng 60 pesos. Benta na ulit ako sa 40 pesos. Nagsara ulit, nalaglag. Okay. Nalaglag ulit ng 15 pesos. Ngayon, 12 pesos na lang. Kaya maraming nalugi dyan kasi may kumita. So, hindi yun
Nilaro ano,
REIT.
sir? Nilaro ano?
Nilaro siya.
Okay.
So, yung 2,000 ko, naging 40,000. Kasi 1,900 shares lang yung binigay sa akin eh. So nabenta ko ng 100, so naging 20,000. Tapos yung 20,000 ininvest ko, naging 40. So naging 20,000 shares binenta ko ng 40. Oh, naging 80,000 pala. Anyway, yun.
Nakita niyo, sir.
Nangyari
Anyway,
lang yan itong August lang. Ay, nung July nangyari.
This July.
Mm-hmm.
At least may baon-baon ka sa pandemic, ano, sir?
Oo.
Anyway, last question.
Sure.
As an investor, do you receive the dividends yearly? Is it in the form of cash dividends or in the form of share dividends? How often the cash dividends and the share dividends coming from Leo de la Peña?
Okay. Pagdating sa REITs, you normally receive a cash dividend. And that is paid on a quarterly basis. Ngayon, yung dividend mo, automatically that is going to be credited to your broker account. Okay, credited yan minus the dividend tax. So you don't have to declare, the earnings, the dividends. Automatically yan, binabawasan na yan ng dividend tax na 15%. So kung hindi mo gagalawin yung pera mo, naiipon lang yun doon sa broker account mo. Pero kung nakinig kayo kanina, ang sinasuggest ko, kapag nakaipon ka na ng pambili, kung makakabili ka ulit, ibili mo siya para dumadami yung shares mo. And that's the only way, I believe, para mas mabilis lumaki yung pera mo. I-reinvest mo yung dividendo. Kasi malilit-lit lang naman yun eh. 'Di ba? So kung nag-invest ka for example ng 10,000, so 5% that is only 50 pesos, 500 pesos, 'di ba? E di makakabili ka na naman ng X number of shares. Okay? Kapag nag-invest ka ng 100,000, meron kang dividendo na 5,000 per year. So the following year, dagdagan mo yung shares mo ng 5,000 ng 5%, dadami na siya ng konti. Yun na ngayon ang basis ng dividendo mo. So just imagine taon-taon na dadagdagan yung shares mo na yun ang basis nung computation ng dividendo. Lumalaki mas mabilis lumaki yung pera mo. Okay? Ganon po yun.
So, maraming salamat, Sir Ricky. This is quite
Walang
an interesting day, ano? Parang
Apa.
conversational lang tayo rito.
Yes.
Anyway, we already had the two winners, di ba? Yung tinanong mo, no? And it will be
Yes.
announced later. Or i-announce na pala natin, ano? I-announce na natin. Ma'am Marge?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Ma'am Marge, yes.
So, we would like to clear up lang, no? Because kanina, na-i-announce natin, ang second winner is Leonida Ko from REBAP Manila. But again, we would like to also consider, actually, ang unang talagang sumagot diyan si Antonio Huson from REBAP Bacolod. So we will have our two winner for the second question, and then for our third question, third answer is from REBAP LMP, no, Ma'am Cynthia Pasis. And then the fourth winner for our Q&A will be from REBAP Cagayan de Oro, Attorney Lily Alcantara. So congratulations to everyone for winning the 500 pesos. So just send your details para pesos. So just send us the details so we can send you the cash prize. It's either through GCash or paano natin mapapadala. Thank you very much for joining the REBAP webinar. So hope to have you every webinar that we will have in REBAP.
Okay. Maraming salamat, Ma'am Marge. Anyway, Sir Ricky, thank you very much for your time.
Okay, you're welcome.
I know we took you away from your income time. Again, thank you very much. And I think we have learned a lot from today's webinar. Hopefully, we can have you again in the future. And probably you can also, some members can probably interact with you and you can give them some financial advice. And
Yes.
before we wrap up, again, we would like to thank other members. We have not mentioned them kasi nga ang dami natin pinag-usapan. You know that we're grateful for your attendance. We know that we keep on learning through these webinars that we offer. We offered by REBAP National. We have 8 webinar series, and this is just only the 4th. And as I have said, we have announced earlier, there are 4 more coming. So again, wait for them, and we expect that many of us will again be present in those webinars. So to close our program for today, we would like to call on ating NB National Board, Edwin Calamba, again, our perennial closing prayer. Sir Edwin?
Thank you, Sir Ricky, for this wonderful opportunity to hear about the REIT, the Real Estate Investment Trust. Thank you for our two able moderator, Ma'am Esme and Jim Ordonez. Let us pray again. Let us pray. Almighty God, our Heavenly Father, we are grateful for allowing the REBAP National to increase the knowledge of its members and participants regarding the Real Estate Investment Trust through our able speaker, Mr. Ricky So. Father God, we do thank Thee for being a member of the Real Estate Brokers Association of the Philippines. The effort of the officers and its members are well appreciated. We ask and pray to allow us to use this learning in our work if this is your plan for us to immerse ourselves in the REIT business. Help us, dear Father, to do rightfully so that good success will come out of these opportunities. Give us the faith to face whatever situation we are right now in this time of pandemic. Heal our land, dear Father, as you have said in 2 Corinthians 7:14. If my people which are called by my name shall humble themselves and pray and seek my face and in turn their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven and will forgive their sin and will heal their land. Teach us to be thankful, dear Father, thankful for the blessings we have now. Teach us to be faithful and humble in our work. to serve our fellow real estate practitioners and clients professionally so that in so doing, we may prosper. Bless our members and officers, increase our opportunities. May your hands be upon us always. Thank you once again for all the blessings that we receive from you, dear Father. In Jesus Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Sir Edwin. Thank you, Sir Edwin. Sir Ricky, please, wag ka munang mag-leave, ano? We're going to have
di pa. Sige.
yeah, may photo, ano tayo, ops pa tayo eh.
Ganun ba?
Yes. Posterity. Okay. Roy, ano natin itong mga panelists, ano? Para makita yung mga members natin.
Lipat natin yung mga members natin dito sa panelist at makita natin silang lahat. Thank you everyone for joining us for another webinar. Expect the fifth webinar.
Okay, I will add additional co-host para magtulungan po tayong i-upgrade sila.
Go ahead.
Sige.
Thanks, my chapter, REBAP Makati, for joining us. Liz, congratulations for winning.
And thanks everybody for joining.
Thank you, Sir Ricky. Thank you so much. And,
You're welcome.
I already received your freebies. I registered with your group earlier, 4:39 in the afternoon. I received already your freebies. Thank you so much.
Okay. You're welcome. Sige po.
Thanks, Sir Ricky.
Thanks, Sir Ricky. Thanks to all chapters.
You're welcome.
Asan na ba sila?
May Dagupan City chapter ba? Pangasinan.
Pangasinan po.
Pangasinan.
Promoting attendees to panelists para kasama sa ano nila.
Yeah, moving them to the panelist area. So to all the officers of every chapter, we look forward to seeing you all on August 27 for the Roberts Rules. The host for that event will be no other than the chairman of the board. So it's part of your succession planning. So we expect all 39 chapters officers to be there. And congratulations again to the moderators today, Jim and Esme.
Thank you.
Jim eventually is be there. And congratulations.
Photo. Naka-off naman.
Uy, si Cynthia, oh my God, nanalo na naman si Cynthia.
Ay, naka-off yung video ko.
Yes.
Si Cynthia, palagi lang talaga yan siya nanalo.
Sir Ricky, in better times, baka magkita tayo, no? We meet, ano?
Wait lang, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes. Pagka medyo, ano tayo?
Pwede kayong mag-refer ng kliyente sa akin para kumita kayo ng
yeah.
extra.
Yes.
Hi, Pipi Cora. Hello. Cecil, magpalabas ka ng beautiful face mo.
Ganito rito, Sir Ricky, pakatapos, nag-aanohan.
Nagkukulitan. As always.
Avelina, hello.
To all our attendees, they have topics
Tag mo na lang ako sa Facebook, Jim.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Webinar, please write it in our chat box. Baka may mga topic gusto, so you can write it down there. Thank you.
Itong ginagawa natin parang end credit ng mga Marvel movies eh. Bigla na lang lalabas yung mga actors and actresses. So anong susunod natin?
Ayan na.
Ayan na sila, ang dami na nila. Oh my gosh. Oo.
nagkalat na mga zombies.
Ang gaganda nila. Oo, ayan o. Ayan na yung mga officers natin. Malamang makikita natin yun sila the 27. Cecil, kamusta yung ano nga yung chapter mo? Ortigas,
Tawa-tawa lang eh.
Oo nga, ganda talaga ng mga past presidents natin.
Hindi ko nakita yung mga kachap. Ayan, si Danny Luho. Buti dumating, sir.
Raising your hand. President Juliet Puzon.
Nag-raise ng hands? Asan siya?
I-invest na raw siya kay Sir Ricky.
Yeah.
Ayan na. Meron ka ng kliyente kagad.
Yan na.
Yan ang trabaho ko, magpayaman ng tao.
Ulit na bagay lang daw yung 3 million.
Lahat ng pundo natin kay Sir Jim Ordonez dadalhin.
Walang kita dyan si Jim Ordonez eh.
Baka meron birthday dito. Sino birthday celebrant dito? Happy birthday!
Merong birthday celebrant.
Si
Oo.
Ruby, birthday niya, Ruby.
Huwag kang aamin,
Ay,
magpapakain
Ruby.
ka. Huwag kang aamin, magpapakain ka.
Oo.
Invited kayo lahat sa Isabela.
Ayan, President.
Edwin birthday also, September. August, diba? Edwin birthday mo? Itong August?
Si Rosalie Sagario of Cebu, birthday rin niya.
Si Resilin ng aming chapter.
REBAP
Hello,
PC.
Resilin. Hello, Sir Danny Lahu.
Ayan, si Mendiola ng Lawag, birthday rin yan.
Shout out sa mga REBAP Green Hills. Green Hills.
O, syempre, di pa tatalong Naga. REBAP Naga, congrats sa sa seminar kanina.
Congrats, Naga. Bacolod. Congrats.
Unmute. Oh, yan si Prescora. Huy. How are you, Ga?
Thank you, Press Queen of
I'm fine,
Rizal.
how are you, Ga?
Thank you, Green Hills members.
Thank you, REBAP Baguio.
So,
Luella. Go ahead, Luella.
Nakamute na ba?
Magsalita ka lang, Luella. Maririnig ka namin.
Birthday na? Ano?
Go ahead, if you want to greet your chapter. Lawag, go ahead.
Lawag.
Luella.
Kalookan!
Tagaytay.
Wala nang mga taga-Caloocan na umalis na.
Oo, kasi may higpit na ngayon, ang curfew.
Happy birthday!
Si Chairman Binag sa August 23.
Happy birthday! Happy birthday, Chairman! Happy birthday! Okay na, tapos na ang photo op.
Roy, picture, Roy.
Picture
okay
na.
na, nagpo-photo pa ako kanina pa.
Okay.
Thank you again, Sir Vicky.
You're welcome.
So everyone,
Thank you, Sir
thanks
Ricky.
again. In behalf of the webinar team, we look forward to seeing you all on our 5th webinar, which is coming up on, kailan nga yun, Jim?
27.
27.
Hindi po.
For the officers.
Webinar.
September
The 5th
11.
webinar.
Special.
Sunod ba? Sunod? 8 ata, 8.
September 8 po, September 8.
Alright. Okay. Goodbye, everyone. Have a nice day.
Bye.
Thank you, Sir Ricky.
Thank you, Sir Ricky.
Read natin yung nag-PM ako sa inyo sa national. Nag-PM ako sa national.
Hello, Evelyn.
Kailan yung part 2 na seminar niya, Sir Ricky?
Invest din sa REIT. Invest kayo sa REIT. 3 million. Minimum.
Fantastic. Galing.
Thank you, Sir Ricky. Thank you. Ang galing.
Thank you,
Sir Ricky.
Sir
Ang galing.
Ricky.
You're welcome. Thank you also.
Actually, Sir Ricky, I just wanted to hold the group, yung aming national, yung in charge dito sa webinar, just to thank you as a group. Kasi we did not thank you as before na nag-meet tayo. So I just hope na magkakasama kami para maibigay namin sa iyo ang aming pasasalamat.
Walang
Yes.
naman.
That's why. Oo.
Kakaibang learnings ito. Grabe, galing.
Ilan ba ang officers ng ng national?
15.
16.
15.
Okay. May
Okay, we're good. All the attendees nakapasok na sa panelist.
Kapasok ba lahat?
Yes. We're good na. Ano pa?
So, nagpasalamat na tayo. Actually, yun ang purpose ko para we could give Sir Ricky collectively our gratitude.
Yes.
So, anyway, we can leave na siguro para makapagpahinga na ang lahat. Matagal tayo nagplano rito eh. So, meron na naman tayong gagawin eh. Walang katapusan to.
Walang katapusang meeting.
Walang katapusang meeting. Meeting na naman.
Magtrabaho kayo habang nagpapahinga.
Ganito ang gawin natin. Mamaya mag-inuman tayo online.
Inuman online.
Di ba Mike, ikaw Sir Ricky, sasama ka ba sa inuman online?
May appointment ako 8 o'clock. May appointment ako eh.
Maraming salamat ulit, sir. Thank
Sige,
you. We're
walang
not going to hold you now.
Oo.
We're not going to hold you now.
Okay, bye-bye.
just-
Thank you, sir.
salamat.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you
so much.
Thank you.
Nice meeting you.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Roy, naka-off na yung Facebook Live natin, no?
Yes po.
Alright, sige. So, dito
But
na
we're
tayo.
we're still recording.
Ay, off mo na rin.
Na.